Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about my experience with the CZ-P10S and the CZ-75B. Because I've had both of these for a few months now, and I've had, enough time to get a decent idea of how much I like each one. Now, starting off, I just want to say that these two serve completely different purposes for me. The CZ-75 is way too big, in my opinion, to conceal carry. So this is more so my home defense option, because not only is it too large for concealed carry, but also has larger magazine capacity. So this is what I use for home defense, and this is what I use for concealed carry. This is actually the handgun that I used to take my concealed carry course. Now, I've wanted a CZ-75 for probably since high school. By the way, these have all been checked beforehand to make sure that there's no bullets in them, so don't worry about that. But I've wanted a CZ-75 for a very long time, and before I ever owned a gun, I always thought that, in my head, I was never going to buy like a polymer frame gun. Like I always wanted the full steel frame, the Beretta M9 variants. And so something like this never would have even occurred to me back before I bought my first gun. The reason I even considered the CZ-P10S was because after I bought the CZ-75, I realized how impractical it would be to actually carry this thing around. And so that was when I started branching out and looking at some other options. And then I settled on the CZ-P10S because I saw a lot of reviews that said that it was an incredible handgun. Now, what I think I can say with confidence is that I actually prefer shooting the CZ-P10S, and that is because of one reason, and that reason is that I am not a huge fan of this CZ-75 double action trigger. It's not bad, but it is definitely not my favorite. Everything else about the gun I enjoy. I like how slim it is, like how heavy it is. I like the good magazine capacity, but this trigger for me just doesn't do it for me. And when I compare this to like the trigger, now obviously it's two different things: striker fired versus double single action. But when I compare that to how crispy that is. That's a snap cap, in case you're wondering. Yeah, so when I compare that to how crisp this CZ-P10S trigger is, it's just a lot more fun to shoot this. And this CZ-P10S actually is I can shoot pretty accurately with it. Like the fact that it's smaller doesn't really affect my accuracy all that much, I don't feel like. And also, comparing the CZ-75 trigger to like a GP100 trigger, which again, I know that revolver triggers are different from semi-automatic double single action triggers, but now I have been thinking about getting this trigger, replaced or having some work done on it to maybe that'll change my mind once I do that. But as of right now, just not a big fan of how that feels. Now, single action, perfect. No issue whatsoever with single action. Single action's good. It's just that very first shot that I do not like. Another thing that I like about this CZ is that I have the decocker right there, which I think is really nice. But yeah, that is my experience so far with these two handguns. Now, the CZ-P10S, like I said before that, I didn't really ever plan on buying polymer frame handguns. But now that I own one, I will say this polymer frame, I can't speak for other brands, but this CZ-P10S frame is very sturdy. And, you know, there are certain aspects about this handgun that people might not like. For example, if you look here, you can see that there's a space. You can see the bed on the other side. So, you know, polymer frame plus, you know, that sort of gap there kind of gives the impression of this being, you know, maybe being flimsy or something. That's absolutely not the case, at least not in my experience. And something that I really like about the CZ-P10S as well is how easily you take it apart. The CZ-75, I haven't taken it apart quite as many times, so it's still kind of like, it hasn't been like broken in yet, I guess. So it's a bit harder to take this one apart, but the CZ-P10S, super easy to clean, easy to shoot, nice trigger. I would actually, like if I have to choose between a factory CZ-P10 and a factory CZ-75, honestly, I might have to go with the CZ-P10, which is very surprising for me, you know, to be saying that, because, you know, this has been like my dream gun for who knows how many years. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I just wanted to give like a very brief sort of look into my experience with these two handguns, and that's about it. See you.